All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. What's going on, fellow rogues? It's Mass Mayor here, and in advance, as I've said this a few times on my streams before, if I look tired, it's because I definitely am. I pulled an all-nighter with something, and thankfully, it seems like, at least at the moment, things are working. Basically, kind of put things in perspective. I just did a YouTube community post a bit ago, saying for you guys to kind of brace yourselves on the possibility of things breaking during the stream. Thankfully, things seem like they're kind of holding up. But it kind of like, give like a little bit of perspective here. As you guys kind of see, showing you OBS here. I've been busy like over the past several hours. As you guys can kind of see, I've got like, I know I've never really shown my OBS like interface that much before. And there's like a lot of like, streamception going on here. So sorry about that. But anyways, as you guys kind of see, I've got like this little thing right here, as well as like over here in the corner. This is called Social Stream Ninja. And this is a Atom multi-stream. And basically, I spent like all night, quite a few hours, like, of sleep deprivation, trying to, get all this together, because as I said recently, another community post, I'm, looking into like, branching out and doing multi-streaming again. Something I used to do like between YouTube and Twitch. Keep in mind, this isn't going to affect my YouTube channel. As I said before, I'm going to continue to stream just like clockwork on here. I'm kind of just wanting like, kind of branch out a little bit. There's a site I want to try out called Moonbeam. And I might possibly be like digging back into like, trying out SharePlay again, considering I did get, back when they were like, doing like the closed, beta stuff, I actually, got chosen for that. That's like another possibility. But Moonbeam is something I'm definitely kind of looking into, for the whole factor that I really, kind of like this, like the mission that the devs have stated, which is that they want to try to make a site where cyberbullying and things like that are definitely like, much more widely taken care of, in the sense that they have like a neat little moderation system in regards to how the basically messages are kind of like, flagged, as far as like, the vibe they give off, I guess you can say, be it if like, if it comes off as aggressive, or if it comes off as like friendly, or positive or whatever. So it kind of gives like more of a way to kind of like moderate messages, so like pretty much what someone's possible intentions are. I know it's gonna probably definitely be like a lot of work around the edges. The site's still very new, and they also have like the way the kind of like things work as far as streamers. They got something called Realms, which is where pretty much with Realms, you get to like make like a little you can either like join, or if you're approved, you can like have your own little Discord style mini server, or mini like little corner on the site where you can stream to like a closed group of people, or if you got like a public realm, you can like stream to a wider number of people, pretty much everyone on the site. I'll probably like link Moonbeam in the description of the stream so you guys check it out for yourselves if you want to. It seems pretty interesting. Again, it's still very early. Not a lot of people streaming on there, but I do want to give it a chance. I want to give it a shot. But anyways, yeah. So what I was pretty much doing all while I was up all night, Social Stream Ninja. This is basically a means. And Elginox is one that showed me this. So Social Stream Ninja is pretty much a means to if I actually do like a little test thing right here, you guys will see it. Just give me 1 second. So if I type test right here, which I did like when the stream started, you'll see like a little pop up over here. Kind of like see like something very different compared to what you normally would see. And so yeah, it's got like this little neat like clean interface to it. They have like a whole bunch of different templates in the program, which you guys can see it like right there. And basically, this is how you can pretty much link like a whole bunch of different chats. You can do like custom things. So you can see I got Moonbeam right here. So this one I'm gonna pretty much be using to see like the chats between Moonbeam as well as YouTube. So that's basically Social Stream Ninja. And again, this is kind of like me starting to stream off as a test stream. I also raised my bit rate for YouTube up to like 12,000 because it said like that was like probably what you want to have for like 60 FPS. I want to see if that might fix like some issues I've seen with my stream time from time to time. See if I would fix like some of the latency stuff and things. Because at times like I'll be talking to people in the chat and it will take forever. It seemed like it took forever for the message to go through, or like a lot of latency there. I was hoping that maybe like raising the bit rate might help out both with like the quality of my streams visual wise, and also maybe see if it'll do something about the latency. But alongside that, I was also just raising this up for the whole fact of preparing for the multi-streaming, because with the ATOM multi-stream, it's gonna pretty much take like my YouTube bit rate as well as Moonbeams, and it's gonna pretty much so this means I'm probably gonna be using about 20 megabits per second for like my streams between streaming like both sites, since I do have like the same like canvas for both of them, both being like 1920 by 1080. At least that means that I should be able to like dodge like using excess resources with my computer with my GPU, because it won't be like trying to output different canvases like different like aspect ratios different sites. So it's still like a lot of work in progress. At least for now, it seems like this stream is stable compared to what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna like crash instantly, but things seem like they're actually working pretty well. Only problem is trying to get used to like normally when I go live, I'll like I just have like a stream. I have like a stream deck hotkey where pretty much when I push it, it automatically goes to the welcome screen, goes live instantly, and then just from one button click. But with how it's gonna be with like this, I'm gonna have to like click to go live with each one. Not like the worst thing, but also means like when but it means I have to like pretty much go live manually, and then when I go off stream, I pretty much have to like manually go over to my outro, and then like once the outro is over, I have to end it. So I'm gonna have to like start getting to the habit of that, unless there is like some way of doing like a hotkey in my stream deck with ATOM. And also alongside the fact of like when I do start, I pretty much have to go manually into like this thing right here and select like live source, just so I can kind of click this, and then that that's basically how I get my chat display. So a lot of stuff I got to work with. But either way, with that being said, Rogues, I pretty much just want to kind of give you guys like an idea on what's coming. But all that aside, what we're gonna be doing now is like focus on Powerwash Simulator. So for today's stream, we're gonna be checking out the Muckingham Files, and also it's gonna be like a test of make sure the stream actually holds up while I'm actually got like motion going on the stream. So yeah, we're gonna be checking out Muckingham Files 6, where it's gonna be like a subway, and I believe it's I keep forgetting what it's called. It was like a statue park, or it was like a something park. Either way, it's like a park of artwork. We're gonna be doing that as well as the subway. And then next week, next time I play this, I'll hopefully have like one of the other paid DLCs, purchased either Back to the Future or Wallace and Gromit, or where we can continue from there. But yeah, with that said, all this rambling, I'm really excited to do this. We finished up the Alice in Wonderland DLC, this past Sunday, and I'm really excited to kind of get in here and see what the final DLC drop they did, is gonna be about. Because they said that the Muckingham Files 6, I guess, is like the final DLC drop, and now I guess they're gonna be focused entirely on Powerwash Simulator 2. Let's go and get the show on the road. Also, of course, like sometime tonight, I'll be streaming next episode of Chrono Trigger as well. Really excited to continue that too. But anyways, let me see. We're gonna go on into specials. Is it specials? Or is it? Yeah, I think it's actually like it's separate. So we go over here to career, bonus jobs, Muckingham Files 6. I don't know how long it's gonna be. Might have to might help if I downloaded it.
Passengers. The next train from Muckingham
Well, it's free. That's the thing. This is free, so you got. So that's the thing. I think I've done this before. While it's downloading, I'm also gonna be right back, guys. All right, so hopefully now like the thing's downloading. Also knows I had like a few frame drops. I'm just hoping that was from me like exiting out of this and trying to like get some more stuff. Like I think it might have just hopefully just been because like the thing was downloading, but I dropped like 32 frames, but hopefully that was nothing. All right, so now we actually got the Muckingham Files. I literally just downloaded it. Oh no, you don't. Okay, it said it was downloaded. I don't know what's going on here now. All right, few technical difficulties, rogues. But I promise we're gonna get this up and running. It's weird because I know I downloaded it. Let me exit out of the game. And it's weird because I literally. Okay, well at least all right. Now it's giving me that actual option to actually download it. All right, hopefully I ain't gotta deal with any more drop frame issues here, but it shouldn't take too long to download this. But it was weird because it was saying it was downloaded before. But also, you guys might see, like, the thing I'm using between, like, for Social Stream Ninja. It kind of has like a completely different thing up there, as far as like it's similar, like chat bar or similar, like horizontal thing, but it just kind of looks a little bit different. I was kind of worried because originally, like the one I saw in there before, I was kind of like, okay, I'm hoping I can like still do a horizontal, like version, like thing for it, and thankfully I was able to. Okay, now we should be able to get things off the ground here. Properly this time. All right, so we got to clean the subway train. Yeah, the sculpture park. I don't know why I keep on art park, whatever. I don't know why I kept on like mixing up saying sculpture park. All right, so Commissioner Bellasaurus. Welcome back to Muckham's subway systems. Following yesterday's spring festivals, our subway system suffered a 314.1% increase in train defacement, considerably more than the predicted 5.9%. Consequently, we made the difficult decision to commission a power washer and face a 2.65 hit to our annual contingency cleaning budget. Well, I mean, as long as I get things clean, lady, I wouldn't really be complaining. How much am I getting paid for this? 800. So this might be a bit of a... I wonder how big this job's going to be. Okay, the question is, how's it look on the inside? Oh my god. Well, this is going to be fun. As a matter of fact, I think this might be the same subway station I cleaned at one point. Alright, let's start with the outside, then we'll go in. Alright. Hey, Wishy. What you up to? I'm cleaning. First morning at Jess's Antiques, and I've already been sent to Washington to pick up a Rocco base basket base. So I got mixed up on it because like basket base baseball. I'm trying to figure what they were saying there. I wanted to say, ma'am, your hunt is over, 'tis I. But you know, never reveal your full weirdness on day one. Okay, so like I said, alright. How's your day shaping up? It's shaping. Like I'm over here like talking to an NPC. So while I'm on it, just make sure like something else is tested here or whatever. Let me make sure that people are actually getting my alerts, because I'm hoping to me change things up, then like, you know. I want to make sure that like, you know, me changing the settings then change like cause problems like with people getting like live alerts from me. Just want to make sure. I mean, I don't know like how this could impact any of that, but I mean, the real test of everything, of course, is going to be like once I, you know, I'm just trying to stream like multiple sites, but. Yeah, I feel like I should go ahead and like work and clean all this up. Yeah, I mean, I was just worried it might have been like, you know, because of the settings I changed up. One thing I will say is I do like, you know, the interface on this. So showing you guys this, what I was talking about. Yeah, so basically, you know, showing her messages in the chat with like what I changed up, that is really cool. Like how they actually have that, you know, with this whole thing. So yeah, that's really nifty. So yeah, definitely a massive shout out to Elgin Ox for showing me the whole social stream ninja thing. Like showed like the membership, showed like that gold border too. That was really cool. So. Okay, so far I've only dropped like 32 frames. But again, I think that was just because I was like, you know, downloading the add-on, the DLC. The reason for the one on Discord, I can understand. I know what that is. It's because, yeah, it turned off streamer mode on me. Yeah, it would have done. All right, yeah, I'll fix that real quick. Probably it's too late now, but I don't know if it'll like give a live update now or whatever, but But also it just kind of feels like, I think, like, you know, there's just been, like, some stuff going on with YouTube lately anyway. I'm just hoping, like, again, I did, like, you know, change these settings up. You know, I'm running a higher bit right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has anything to do with that. I'm hoping it doesn't. Like, I did, like, you know, work with the bit rate a little bit. Again, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, I mainly just did this, just kind of test things out for, like, streaming on one side, but the real test is going to be, like, you know, streaming to this and Moonbeam. Okay, yeah, that's because I had to turn streamer mode on. Yeah, that was on me. I had that off last night because I was, like, you know, messing around with some stuff on the Discord or whatever, but I turned that back on, because basically streamer mode has to be on for the alerts to come through, so that one was on me that time. I think another thing I've realized is before is when it wasn't, like, doing, like, you know, the bot wasn't doing updates for a while. It was because I had, like, my Discord status set to offline. So I think you actually have to have, like, streamer mode on and have your setting, have your status set, I believe, online. I feel like, you know, honestly, it feels like this job, even though I'm getting paid more for this job, I don't think this is going to take that long. I'm already, like, you know... And honestly, I will say, no, I mean, no offense to the game, because I'm, like, been excited to get on this DLC, but I'm hoping it's not going to take too long. I definitely, like, want to get me some rest. I mean, this is, like, something I've been meaning to get out of the way for a while, and as long as everything's working, like, the way it's supposed to, at least within reason of what I, you know... some compromise I'm gonna have to make. Like I said, like the whole thing with, like, you know, me, like, you know, I had, like, you know, click to go live with 2 different things and, like, do things a lot more manually compared to, like, having, like, you know, Stream Deck hotkey set up. But I'm gonna look around and see if there's a way to, you know, to kind of, like, you know, do the whole do a hotkey with ATEM, you know, multi-stream, where I can still streamline it. But at least if everything's working, this was something that I've been putting off for a bit. And I finally got it done, so that's one less thing I gotta, like, you know, stress about. Because technically, I should have, like, the thing set up, you know, to be able to stream on Moonbeam. I just haven't tested it yet. I was thinking about trying it with, like, with this one, like, during the stream, but I decided to kind of wait. You back down the subway? Nice. But they need you after yesterday. Bucket Fest got pretty wild from what I saw on Watcha. Or does, like, that there's their form of YouTube or something. To be fair, 5 towns all having their fest on the same day was never going to end well. Well, at least hopefully the food was good. Yeah. Honestly, this one took me a bit, but when I realized, like, how simple it was in the end, yeah. I honestly was worried that I was going to need Eldnox's help with it. And that says things. Normally, I don't really, like, normally need help with, like, the tech stuff, considering how long I've been streaming, but this is, like, something, like, definitely new. And honestly, you know, the person who did, like, you know, Social Stream Ninja, definitely want to see him actually, you know, for what he's done. It's, like, a massive godsend. Because mainly the thing is that it's pretty much just a means for you to see, like, multiple chats. Like, both programs I'm using is doing, like, you know, between this and the ATEM multi-stream, both of them are free. Compared, like, you know, the whole thing with, like, a lot of restrictions with Restream back when I used that. And I just like the fact that this gives, like, a much, you know, cleaner, you know, chat interface, like, more options for that look, you know, cooler. Both within, like, the, within, like, you know, my overlays on OBS that only I see, and also what's shown on stream. And also just the fact that, like, you know, with Restream, if you want to multi-stream, I think if you want to do, like, you know, custom, like, you know, you know, custom sites or whatever, like ones that weren't listed on Restream, you had like you to have a premium plan. At least with this thing, I can pretty much just load in like a one that's not on the list and still like stream there no problem. So yeah, people who did ATEM and also those who yeah, like I said, it's just like, you know, like I want to like figure out how to kind of like keep this up here on here, where as you can kind of like see here what I was talking about. This right here is awesome. I love like how like this little template I got right here actually like highlights membership, and it pretty much, you know, just puts some. It's just so clean looking. There's like some other pretty cool ones they had too, but I know there was one like Rocket Notches would have loved. You know, it was like a kind of like a code thing, like a matrix style thing, like a bunch of code stuff. But some of the messages I was seeing like weren't loading correctly. It would have been cool to use that one, but you know. But it did take like a lot of tweaking to get that, you know, going. At first, I mean, it was because at first I was like I had it like, you know, down below, you know, my face cam. But then I realized I was like wait, I still get to like, you know, keep my horizontal chat. So I like having my chat like out of the way of everything, and up there like, you know, like where it's kind of like not obstructive. Kind of like, but I feel like once I kind of get in the flow of things, this is going to be, like I said, it's a little daunting right now, but I'm just kind of like, you know, wishing I can find a way to kind of like, you know, keep the messages displaying, because they do go away after a bit. I want to see if there's a way to kind of, you know, keep them up there. And nothing else. I mean, I still had Mix It Up on display. I mean, of course, you know, it's going to be a given to keep Mix It Up, because that's like how I have my chat games and other functionality that goes outside just chat. You know, just like, you know, a way to see chat. Yeah, the only thing is that this particular thing, it said like there was like wasn't really any other customization options for for the pre-made templates. So there was like no way, I guess, like to really keep the chat like, you know, static. Maybe it's just, maybe if I'm lucky, I go in there, I'll like, you know, find like another setting. I'm pretty sure it was like they were saying there was like no way to customize like, you know, the like the pre-made the templates like the one I showed. Like I can kind of like just maybe just get those as I go through. I'm gonna have to go inside, so. I'm thankful this seems like it's turned out to be like somewhat of a quicker job. Because like I said, you know, I definitely want to give me some rest. But I want to go and get this stream out of the way, so I wouldn't be rushed between this and Chrono Trigger later. And again, with me getting all this out of the way, I'm also going to be kind of like, you know, I'm just like a little more relieved. Like a little less stressed, because that was something like I said, I was putting off for a bit, trying to get like the stuff set up. It's always like usually like I'll kind of like put things off at times, because I kind of like I'm just worried like, okay, well, that's like, you know, just gonna be like extra work and I've already got so much on my plate. But then I go and do it, it's like, okay, that actually wasn't really that bad. It took several hours. It was a little complex at first, but then once I kind of like, you know, things started like clicking together, I was like, okay, yeah. So it'd be like, you know, rest well deserved. I mean, the main test, of course, is going to be like, you know, is just the chat working on Moonbeam. Because, again, right now, I mean, at least I'm not dropping any frames. Like I said, I dropped a few at the start of the stream, but I think that was just because, like, getting downloading the update. Yeah. I think I'm just going to, like, go and run on inside. Oh boy. Okay. Muckingham Merman. Okay, they got... They're serious trouble. Oh, yeah. So they got lore here. Okay, I like how they're doing this. This is pretty cool. So they actually have like little lore things. It's showing like, you know, the spots I cleaned up before. Yeah, the fire truck, the plane. And of course, the statue. The skate park. Oh, wow. It's like just... Yeah, okay. So someone just... Oh, like just a massive donut. I can't do the Homer Simpson dough, but... Genuinely loving this drive. Pretty sure a lot of people like loving like this drive. You know, if it's the one, if it's a drive that's less dirty. I'm a quick pissed out to stretch my legs and take in the view. But yeah, it's doing that thing that I like though. You know, when you uncover the lights, it seems like everything just gets brighter. Almost forgotten how spectacular our county is. And it's even more spectacular now that I've cleaned, like, you know, pretty much almost all of it up. Until next game, that is. But it definitely seems like they're trying to, like, you know, do this as a proper send-off to the game, though. And I still got more content to do, but... Alright. I'm definitely like make sure I can keep those frames monitored, but again, it's been more stable than I thought it was gonna be, and I'm gonna like be checking the stream afterwards to see if like there's any changes to the quality. So again, like I was looking at like a lot of YouTube settings, and they were saying like last they were saying because I was like running like, you know, my bit rate about like 8,000, but YouTube was saying for 60 FPS, like, you know, it's recommended to do like 12,000. And with me getting like upgraded my internet like not long ago, not only kind of like, you know, stream like, you know, higher like bit rates on YouTube, but also I'm really just kind of like, you know, hoping that I'll be able to like, you know, juggle between this and Moonbeam, because Moonbeam's gonna be like another 8,000. With me having like a 300 up, or like 30 Mbps up. I don't know why I said 300 up. Well, they won't be too much of a problem. Okay. So we're past the halfway point on this being cleaned up. Like I said, I figured this is gonna be like a... Yeah, this is not really a long job. Or else it might just be I'm just trying to like laser focus on like a good bit because I want to go to bed. At least with it seeming like, you know, the stream holding up, where that's one thing that kind of like definitely, you know, makes it like even more basically in the sense of like, you know, it's one thing like, you know, kind of like, you know, when you're feeling accomplished about doing something, but then like, you know, when you know you feel any more accomplished when it's actually working afterwards. Because I mean, I went in, did all this, and I was like, this stream is totally gonna crash. I'm gonna have like drop frames out of the, you know, out of the ass and everything, and it actually, you know, seems like everything's like holding up like a lot better than I thought it was going to. Yeah, like a few like frames dropped at the start, But again, just really seemed like more than anything that was just because I was like, in the process of like, downloading this DLC because I forgot to download it. Watch the skies. Yeah, that was the UFO. And of course, the whole thing, like, the little subplot for the cats going missing. Just been roadblocked and pumped in by a duck and a goat. Okay. Go on. Calm down, fellas. I'm just passing through. I was wondering if there's supposed to be like a reference there. Could have been like reference to one of like the earlier maps, but it's been a while since I played them, obviously. I'm gonna try picking them some choice poison berries from a high branch to tempt them away. As long as it's not a goose, that goose will mess your ass up. There's another thing I also did today, Rogues. Because I kind of like, like I said, I've been trying to like work on some things moving forward, and I finally, since it was on sale, I had a chance to like go ahead and get like the one DLC for Dredge that I've been missing. Because for anyone who watched me play through Dredge, you guys know how much I love that game. And I got like the forgot like I forgot the name of the DLC, but it's the one with the oil rig. So I'm really excited to eventually dive into that. I know I definitely want to like get back on Doom: The Dark Ages, but so that's gonna be a priority. But probably as soon as I finish up Doom: The Dark Ages, I'll probably like go ahead and get do the Dredge DLC, or maybe like try to find some time in between to do it. There's so much stuff on the pipeline between Grounded 2 coming out next month, and we're gonna be like getting on that for Saturday streams. I'm coming up on finishing up Pokemon Legends, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So then I'll be doing the Dark Ages, and hopefully sometime in the future I'll be able to go and start on Shining Pearl, and do my first playthrough, for Game of the Diamond and Pearl series, or Diamond and Pearl gen. I know we're going to have to come back through, but my guess is like the sculpture park's gonna have like a bunch of lore in it also. And it definitely feels like they're trying like this DLC is definitely a send off. Okay, Spring Festival. Alright, yeah. Wizards, Bounce Castle, face painting, street food. I'm wondering if that's gonna be a sign of something. And of course, Ulysses was the most problematic cat in the game. I'm guessing Fresca adopted, or Freya adopted the cat. So my guess is that's kind of like a hint of stuff for like the next game. I saw something on this one. Jeez, I'm okay. There's. Do I gotta go? Did I get both sides, baby? Who's gonna notice that little smudge? That one, however, totally. This is how they're trying to get me, like all these little nooks all around here. There it is. That's what I feel like every time I clean something, there's like something else. Can't get to this one. There we go. Wall vent. What else is there? Do for the single. Scrap rail right here. Okay. I have to come back, I will. Okay, nice. Jesus. Okay, climb back up here and definitely missed something up there. A lot of something. Okay. It looks like the roof is, yeah, totally. All right. All right, now this shit. Is this the last, I think it's, yeah, it's the last car. All right, let's wrap this job up. Okay, and there's like some more things here. Here there was like a boulder. It was a bouldering one. Yeah, yeah, for real. I think like some of these are definitely like earlier jobs. I can't remember like some of these. I can't remember if I did like a bouldering one. So it may just be like, you know, these are like referencing like some of the other jobs where I can't really see because like, you know, I think I've seen these chairs that might have been from the very first job. Remember, I think that's what it is. Pretty sure it's probably like from the very first job I took in the game. And that was a while back. I've been playing this game for a long time now, Rogues. For real. This has like definitely been like one of my longest running series on this channel. Yes, things are gonna be a little bit bittersweet when I finally finish this off. But again, the next game's coming, so. So just trying to go and wrap this one up so I can get on to the next one. Made into Washington. One less trip. Remind me how much is out there. You're considering taking work beyond Muckingham? I have a few times already. Admittedly, I'm kind of like having a little bit of problems, like kind of trying to keep my eyes open here, Rogues. But I'm finishing this. Definitely gonna try to keep having like another Fairy Godmother's Potion Factory incident where I kind of like was dozing off. Right. It's 15%. Well, 14% more now. Yeah, like I said, this wasn't a long job by any means. Yeah, plenty of dings in quick succession, so that's always rewarding. Yeah, kind of slightly like my eyes start closing on me right there. I don't know, as soon as I finish, I'm probably gonna give me a little bit of caffeine in my system. So just kind of like, you know, give me a little more awake or whatever. I'll be good. After that, I'll be good to go. Yeah, that one. Don't know if I've seen that one or not. Where that's supposed to be. When I was gonna show like me clean the inside of this. Probably won't. I mean, like some of the other maps, I didn't show me to clean the entirety. You're definitely getting like a lot of quick successions on those dings. Like, I think there's like probably like one. I don't know if I've ever actually gotten like so consistently on a map before. Okay. When is one of these noses gonna get up and bite me? We should be getting close to the end of this. I mean, we are obviously, but I mean, as I get my checklist. There's that one. PC cushions. Freaking gnome. Okay. All right. Bench seat cushions here. All right. What else we got? Emergency exit pull tabs. Be right here. Or not. Something out here I missed. Yeah. All right. Inner double door buttons. Yeah, hold up. Oh shit. Yep. You're welcome in, Jeremy. Hopefully yours was a lot cleaner. Your double door warning lights. Keys, keep your gnome off the seats. Warning lights, huh? Okay. Inner double door warning. All right, so if it says inner double door, it means it's got to be. That might have been that right there. Jeez. Ain't no more surprises. Good grief. Watch this. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Warning light. It's an air double door warning light. Oh, see, now I looked at that before and it didn't, like, you know, wasn't showing that. Alright, that's what I kept looking at. Alright, inner door buttons. Alright, almost there. Scrolling displays. Oh, I would have had my checkpoint by my checklist by now. Ceiling vents and B. Right here. Yeah, so many tiny pieces. Alright, inner wall posters. Maybe like that'll be it. Inner wall posters. Not quite. I thought like that. Okay. Roof vents. I climb back outside. It says roof vents, does it? They say roof vent. Where the hell's the roof vent? Okay. Those are ceiling vents, but not roof vents. Or it's gonna be like one of these things that's like it's a pain in the ass to find. Like it says roof vent, so you figure it'll be outside on the roof. Like you feel there's gotta be something up here. Oh, see, now they call them panels before. It's weird because, okay, because I was, okay, whatever. I thought it was these things. For some reason, like I was doing like that on it before, whatever, and it said, like, had like a weird, at a odd spot where it still said panel. Here we go. All right. Inner cab door lock. All right, that's right there. Saw it just for a second. All right, there's that one. And the rear lights. All right, rear lights. There it is. You just gotta find where these rear lights are. Hold up. Yeah. Gotcha. Alright. Okay, so actually it's showing on the inside. Makes sense. Power services, amazing stuff. You can consider your work here well and truly complete. Congratulations, Bella. Alright, Rogues, one more to go. Only 200, so this may not... Okay. Come hither with your suds of wonder. The clouds have passed overhead, and the moment is now. The moment is always now. Alright, Darcy, DRC. Now, the moment is now for me to go get some caffeine in my system before I fall asleep in the middle of your park. I'll be right back, Rogues. it's time to wrap this up. Yeah, I kind of like just got up, you know, got me some caffeine in my system, got me some soda. And also stretch my legs a little bit. So definitely, you know, I'm good now to like finish this. Watch someone go here and like immediately pass out. Not really. But anyways, yeah, Jet Smith, come hither with your suds of wonder. The clouds are past the overhead, and the moment is now. The moment is always now. It's gonna kill me like trying to talk like this, talk like that for this. So yeah, I just want to see what this is gonna look like in the end. Okay. So what we got going on here? All right, kind of like get a lay of the land. Oh yeah, this ain't gonna take long at all. The worst part about it is just gonna be like the lot itself. All right, go ahead and get like the lore started. You have come. Yes, Darcy, I have. Your Samaritan of Suds, you know, has arrived to... Please purge my work of this dirt. My imposter syndrome made manifest. That's basically what I was trying to say. You know, your savior of Suds, you know, is here to bequeath you of this bile or whatever. Yes, you guessed correctly. I've done this to myself. How? Oh, that's gonna be a good one. I can't wait to hear this story. So they have names on these things. Let me check this out. Alright, this one's called the Eye of Horus 2021. Was Eye of Horus ever for us? Porous? Our vision of the holy is holy. Gaps in our perception prevent the manifestation of the vision. I should let that thing like dirty. I'm too freaking tired to like be reading all that, lady. Okay. It looks like a giant fidget device. You ain't fooling me. So I said the Jolly Green Giant will be using like when he's bored at his computer or something. Yeah, that's what I've said about this game. Like, it's awesome how they give like so much personality to characters who you never even actually see like the faces of. Yeah, so this one's segmented, so it's gonna be like different parts gonna be cleaning here. Go ahead and get the I show the sign. This might still take a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I said the worst part about it is definitely gonna be the ground, but of course, like each of these things is gonna have like a. I don't know, like I said, this right here with it being segmented, I'm gonna try to see if I can climb up on top of it. I know I can, but. It's gonna be really interesting to see like how this is gonna look once it's done. I mean, like I said, it's always interesting to see how everything looks. And I think like the next DLC I'll probably do will probably more like I'll probably go ahead and like buy the Back to the Future one next. Like realistically, I'd like to, you know, or go ahead and have all the ones that I want to go ahead and do, but yeah. Again, that's another series I ain't watched in a while, so. Of course, if there's not a manure truck, I'm gonna be very, very surprised. like the manure truck or whatever it was. Like, I can't remember if it was a manure truck. I remember like Biff, like, you know, running into it and the whole like manure. I hate manure. But again, it's been so long. I know it was a running joke in the series, but they don't have like something based around manure. I'll be very surprised because that'd be perfect for this. Okay, so and also another plus to it is that, like, you know, the floors are segmented, so yeah. They're all like individual spots. Yeah, I didn't get all the sections. I see you. Oh, I definitely see you. Now I don't see you. Oh, you're not telling me I gotta climb back up here. I thought I got all that. What in the hex? You know, I just thought about it. It's gonna be like Wait a minute. See, if it's one long segment, it means it could be like any other spot down here. They're trying to trick me. See, look at that. Yeah, I was up there like so busy trying to get that, and then thought I was like, wait, it's going all the way down here. Like, you know, a bunch of like, you know, giant Smurf toenail clippings. If Smurfs were giant sized. Uh-huh. Well, that's still like just a platform wall, so. Don't necessarily count towards that, but still at least I can kind of get it out of the way. Okay. And of course, I got a giant gnome statue. Why not? And I don't even want to say what it looks like it's covered in. Like I said, don't like no caramel corn. Okay, so that... Okay, I thought that wall was like... Okay, never mind. That piece right there didn't actually count towards it. Alright. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of residual stuff here. So these are definitely like some spots where they want me to clean as much of it as possible. Wow. And see all that, like, you know, that very vague, you know, Okay, that explained that. That was weird. I know I cleaned over that earlier, so how is it still there? Whatever. Alright. Hey guys, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that again, guys. Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and, continue this. We're about to be, 20% on it. So we can get, our next lore bit. Because I really want to know, what is that, she, did that, caused all this to happen. We got, the random aggro crag from, Global Guts right here. Another thing I am actually kind of really interested in or excited about is we've been playing our fair share of Phasmo here and there, and the big updates coming for that. But now that all of us have our hands on a copy of Project Unknown, it's gonna be interesting trying that as well. The enigmatic wave sculpture represents the birth of an idea. The wave symbolized my subconscious mind and its fraught thought process. Yeah, it is. It's be crazy getting into Project Unknown as well. The balls are the ideals themselves. As you can see, one is about to be born. Okay. In this instance, the idea of being born is the idea to make a sculpture about the birth of an idea. Lady, I am too dang tired for this. Home sweat home. The one's on toil, the home and homemaker become one. Huh? Okay, so... Yeah. There's like so many games we still need to like, you know, try out. Even if we just do like a one and done on it. Like we decide it's like not really our cup of tea or whatever. And out of the two, like those two, Panacore is definitely the one I'm wanting to like. I'm more interested in. Yeah, this ain't coming off as easy. Maybe because I'm far enough. I'm a little bit far away. There it comes. And normally, like, you know, this just like, you know, just busts everything and, you know, cleans all of it off. But again, like, I know a lot of this is just like, you know, the floor out there. Once I get that up, we're... Won't be as bad. I could go ahead and go work on it. Let me go ahead and clean this first and I'll go do that. Get a ladder. Just like, you know, go over here and clean up the top of it. This kind of gives you like a little view. Yeah, there's a lot, like more than anything. It's just like the all that. Kind of like usually how it always goes. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of this part here because there's just so many like corners and declines and inclines to it. I'm not a fan of this. But since we got like the top, all right, I'll just go ahead and just, you know, hit this right here. All right, at least this side's almost done. Shoulder's stiff. My shoulders always feel stiff when I'm playing this game for some reason. I think I'm kind of like just not really moving around as much. I'm so focused on the task. I'm gonna climb back up top again, get each section. Yeah, at least the rest of it don't really seem like it's gonna be. Okay, this corner right here. Yeah, this thing definitely is like probably like the worst part of this. That works? Okay, I'm hoping I'm done with this stupid... Because that thing sucked. I won't sweat home. I mean, I'm feeling kind of sweaty just from that, or whatever, and I wish, like, you know, where someone's... I wish it would move. I don't know. Freaking aggro crag. Okay. And that's how this kid's from, you know, Global Guts felt. Trying to climb that stupid thing. Now we're actually starting to make progress again, though. That thing was, like, definitely a roadblock. Alright, get this bench, and I'm gonna just start working on, like, cleaning as much of the ground, like, clean the ground up, and then get the rest of the sculptures afterwards. Okay, that should be the... Is that the whole bench? Yeah. Alright. Let's work on this floor. Well, that works too, okay. I've already cleaned that. Get the railing too, while we're at it. Alright. It's literally a lot of ground to cover. We'll uncover. But... It... Well, like, go and just get started on it. Won't take too long. And this is where most of the percentage is, I think. Curious animalistic sculpture is my spirit animal, Seymour. Is that what that is? Every night in my dreams, I send him off to the astral plane to mine the Akashic records for that inspiration. I would just like to send him somewhere to get me a hamburger. I get the midnight noms at times. When he finally manages to find his way home, you can expect my work to go stratospheric. Alright, you can expect like that hamburger to go to my stomach. Okay. It's starting to come along. I'm starting to actually see a floor under here. And exhaustion is definitely kind of, kicking in more and more rogues, but it's not much longer. Moment within a moment. A through line. A for you line. We were caught, snagged, secured, two happy fish in a net. I'm happy like trying to decipher that sentence. Wait, these are fish. Okay, let's. How much more of the Yeah, it's. Shouldn't take. Yeah, we're almost there. So just get this floor out of the way, and there should be like a good massive chunk of it right there. I'm hoping we should be at least like maybe at like about 60% by the time I'm done with the floor, or the floors, since they're not, since they are segmented. Under here. And there's that. Eventually. There we go. Alright, now back to the floor. So, like, time for being tired. My shoulder's so stiff, but Ugh. Sorry, guys. But at least you know the all-nighter I pulled or whatever was like, you know, for get things moving forward. You know, I consider it worth it. Don't feel like it was worth it, but it's worth it. Okay, this is looking really good now. Yeah, the floor is always, you know, or because basically to me it feels like they kind of throw me off at times. I mean, I called. I said it was gonna probably be about like 60%, and it may actually be a bit over. Okay, just this area over here, and then we can just like, you know, clean the sculptures. Thought process 2020. The mind gurgles and burbles. Where there's bubbles, there's trouble. Where there's froth, there's sloth. Then along comes a pop, and all's forgiven. Savannah's like one of the few things that actually seem like it makes sense to some degree. Megalith is a 110 model of the house in which I shall see out my final days. You can have it. If that's what you... It'll be colossal, made from marble and float 10 feet in the air due to magnetic repulsion. Okay, that means if it's floating 10 feet in the air, you ain't gotta worry about dirt and then getting on me. You ain't gotta worry about me coming and cleaning it. Magneto. Man, this will be powered by a solar farm the size of Suds East City, which will replace Suds East City. Why does that sound dangerous and like, you know, in the subject of a sci-fi movie? I mean, you know, sci-fi channel movie? We can imagine. What we can imagine, we can manifest. And also there's a phrase about like, you know, they're so consumed, like, you know, the thoughts that are so consumed about like thoughts of if they could, that they didn't stop thinking that if they should. It wasn't verbatim, you know, what Ian Malcolm said in Jurassic Park, but I digress. That thing is, did she actually explain? Did she ever get around to explaining exactly what happened? I don't think she ever told me is that how all this happened. Yeah, she totally is. No, she definitely might be a bit of a cloud cuckoo lander. Like, not saying she's crazy or anything, saying she lives in her own little world. Well, we actually might get somewhere around 70 from this. Oh no, that's pretty much, you know, vast majority of it cleaned up, so. And we're almost done with the bench. I thought it was. There's all this under here too. Unless I got to clean each leg. Come on. Okay, we at least got the floor. Probably best just kind of like get in this inside the horseshoe right here. Of course, they want me to clean every individual leg. Yeah, not really much of a fan of this bench either. But at least now we can... Yeah. Okay, it's probably like, you know, some, well, we're just like right up on top of it. Okay. Yeah, is it, where's it at? It's like saying there's still like a little bit more to it. I know I saw like where it said there was like a bit more. Or maybe that's what I was like, locking on. All right. 70% now. Let's get these sculptures taken care of. All right. Right. At least it's coming clean pretty quickly. The only thing I hate is like if they're trying to say that it's got all these bits that like need to be scrubbed. I can't wait to read the lore entry on this one. Okay, here we go. Oh, we were. Okay. Not really too fun to clean this gnome, but thankfully this is almost done. There's a bunch of residual stuff on it. I got that stupid hat cleaned. Yeah, it's like this, yeah, there's some gunk on its arm right there. Alright, let me get the ladder real quick and I can climb up there, get the rest off. Hopefully if I'm lucky the rest of the, things aren't going to be as difficult to get around. Problem is, like, its face is, like, so tricky to, clean. Should be able to get it from this angle, though. Yeah, right up in those, in that beard. Okay, is that everything on him now? Still ain't got his arm. Get behind his ears, I guess. Yeah, definitely a lot better than the fountain. That fountain sucked. And I, by no means whatsoever, like, made any effort to hide my feelings by that fountain. Okay, looks good for now. If there's anything else on, we'll come back and get it. Aside from that. Okay, let's read the lore about the gnome. Man of 1,000 faces. You have 1,000 aspects, all of them facing inwards. Come outside sometime. You might enjoy yourself and see what I've made. That thing has had, like, you know, the most convincing case of rested bitch face every time I've seen him show up in this game. Alright. If she's saying this is the animal she turns into at night. Or does it... Come home, Seymour. You flew high, Seymour, all the way to Akasha. Why have I never seen you since? You whom now know all, I made you and gave you purpose to return to me. It's bad when her own imaginary friend ditches her. You see more like see less. Yeah. There's that. All right. Nearly there, Rogues. Nearly there. I'm gonna clean around this wall. Yeah, it's pretty cool, little sculpture. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell Seymour is. Alright guys, give me a sec. Alright. This wall taken care of. Then we just got like how many more statues? Like 3 more. Yeah, I forgot to get this platform right here, so. So we didn't necessarily like fully finish up, you know, clean this there we go. This definitely is like, you know, was one of the more interesting areas, just by design. Like, would it be cool you find out like the fans actually like submitted these, like some concept art for these or whatever, or like something for submitted, like, you know, all this in some way, shape, or form, and then the devs like put it in the game. That's pretty much how they done like the Muckingham Files stuff. That could actually be what this is. This could have been like because that's in the levels are pretty much and then the Muckingham Files things are all like, you know, I can't remember if like the ones they have on here now or ones that didn't make the cut originally, and they like, you know, because I know like originally they were doing like a bunch of fan submissions and they put like some of the stuff in the game. I can't remember if the Muckingham Files was like, you know, ones that they like put in because, you know, that were originally fan creations or what. Can't recall, but I know at one point then they had like a little voting thing where like, you know, between like, you know, different maps that fans made. I think some of them like still like were brought back in afterwards, but finally the bearded figure in the corner is my father. So she's at least explaining everything, but not how all this got so dirty. Eyes closed in disappointment, arms tucked behind his back, aloof and superior. And he's damn sure like he's representing that lollipop guild, though. And I know it's a gnome, not a munchkin, but he was very sensitive about his poorly defined eyebrows. And it's his large pointed hat, distraction device. I knew that's where she was going with that. But yeah. I'm trying like to get my, there we go. I was trying to get like my figures like, you know, a little more front and center. Let's see what this one says. Hue unhewn. 2024. We do not begin our journey as gray and dull tabula rasa, but as the glowing crystal of light, primed for life of pure brilliance. Yeah, pass it to Iris or whatever there's in Yada. Okay, so it's segmented. Okay. Okay, is that whole thing clean now? No, it's not. Now shit. Darn. Okay, we need the ladder. Hold on. Very least, we just got clean these other two sculptures, and really, this should be. I feel like this should be like an easy checklist to pick up. Gotta come back down there and clean that too, and also the guardrail. And finish this up, and I'll go back down. Right. Yeah, let's get these lights up here too. I just noticed that. It's not coming clean. All right. Get this one now. It should just be this and the other sculpture. Oh, this don't make that much sense because, well, I guess that we can maybe get like a 90 from that one. Or get a 99 from that one. The Fraught Process 2020. The Mind Gurgles and Berg. Alright, yeah, we already saw that. Read that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to wrap this job up. Yeah, it's giant, like, fruit roll up. It definitely gives like vibes, of the Blob too, from the horror movies. This one's kind of like some weird. Yeah. There's different angles to it, so that makes it a little bit trickier to kind of like get it also, but. Okay, let's climb up on top of it. Oh, that explains a lot. Yep. There's a little bit right here. I might underestimate these jobs a little bit, rogues. Not specifically that, where it just one of the lines of like, you know, me not realizing going into this like that me going in tired or whatever was definitely gotta be a bit of an undertaking. But hey, you know, we're pretty much about done though, so. That's what I thought. All right. Any more to it, we'll come back to it. Let's go ahead and like, you know, get this thing taken care of. And this thing is supposed to be fish. That's what they said. Whoa. Double whoa. And that explains like, you know, where like some of the other percentages. All right. All right. Now, just this one thing over here, and maybe that'll be it. Thinking is also, unless it's segmented too, because we're definitely missing something. There's definitely like, you know, some things we're missing on the I know like some of these other skull fudging heck. Okay, we done now? Does anything else want to object? Of course it does. Of course it does. It's going like, you know, I should have known this with the lights, because, you know, because the other ones. But I did get those first where, so I should have like thought to come back to this one. But also at the same time, I realized it was here. I'm definitely gonna try to make sure I do the best I can to be ready for to do the chrono triggers I stream the night rogues. I'm definitely gonna need me some rest first. I promise I'll try to be live with that, and hopefully it won't be like too many disruptions or complications. You know, considering. Yeah. It sounds good. Yeah, I've got like some garlic, you know, cheese curds in there I can nom on if I want to. I picked them up from the grocery store earlier. But it's one brand that like has some pretty nice mini Italian style mozzarella sticks. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I will admit, cause I was trying not to talk about it too much on the stream, Jeremy. But that's one reason I was stepping away a few times earlier. They were being out there being excessively loud again. But I continue to hope. I continue to hope at some point it won't be a problem anymore. Sometime in the future, be it if like I end up moving somewhere else, or the landlord does what they were supposed to, said the clean they were doing, doesn't about them. Because it's not just in a sense of for my content. I'm tired of basically I'm also in a sense of I want to basically be able to do my content the way I want to without like being stressed about them, worry about them like being loud out of nowhere and causing issues. Especially when I want to get back into doing D&D and can't do that yet because obviously that will be picking up on the mic and that causes so many problems for me and Dave's D&D stuff. But it's also just because I've been like venting about it. Like I talked about in the Discord as well as like on here or whatever. And I'm honestly just to the point where I'm just tired of bitching to you guys about it too. But at the same time, I also want to make sure I bring it up like when things go on so people know what's happening. It's the reason I made the vlog I did. I was just trying to like not talk about as much on stream anymore, but yeah. Just I wanted to be like everything gets calmer again all around. I mean, it's just I've just been addressing the elephant in the room, being transparent about things. My neighbors suck. I don't even like calling them my neighbors because literally just feel like they just like moved in over there, like they own the place. And again, literally, when I came in last night from the gym, and someone like pulled in over there, doesn't even live there, and I'm pulling up and like I'm walking in my yard, and they say, "Who's that?" Like, it's none of their business. They don't live over here, and they're trying to ask who I am. I live over here. I'm also someone like who's respectful of other people that live around here. I'm not like anywhere near as noisy as they are. Anyways, ran over, guys. We need to focus on finishing this up. I just felt really bad about it because as I tried, like I've said multiple times, I don't want my stream to be a place for me to air out my dirty laundry and everything. The only reason I have is because I felt like, again, people who have like put their time and money into my channel deserve to know what's going on and why there's the disruptions, why sometimes I show up like stressed and everything. They deserve to know. But normally I definitely try to like keep this as a place where I leave all that at the door, but it's kind of hard to leave it at the door when it's constantly like banging on like that door like while you're live, metaphorically speaking. But I keep saying like because if I do end up like moving somewhere else, at least I won't have to worry about it anymore. Just be nice to kind of go somewhere that where hopefully there won't be too many other houses nearby. But at the very least, it'd be nice to be away from them because they don't seem like they're really going anywhere, regardless of what the landlord was claiming. But I just do really appreciate you guys being patient with me through all this. I know it's not anything that's my fault, but I still like felt bad about it. But at least like came in today and delivered on the stream regardless, even if I definitely am in need of some sleep. But rather, I want to go and get this out of the way now. And I went live. I thought it was, because I thought, it was actually it was one of those times where it seemed like it was like peaceful around here and everything. And then, I definitely, wanted to like, kind of get this out of the way, do the morning streams. That way I won't be feel like a swamped or overwhelmed, like, doing this and Chrono Trigger later. It's been like a much, easier to manage, like, doing one in the morning and one at, getting some rest and doing the other one instead of like doing them, one right after another. Oh, believe me, I'm gonna like I'm gonna have like something to eat, and then I'm gonna crash right after the stream. Trust me on that. Okay. All right, wave sculpture bubbles. Hopefully it's not too many, things we gotta get. As far as like the rest of this is concerned. Wave sculpture bubbles. Okay, awesome. Wasn't that many left. Animal sculpture plinth paste. How did I miss that? Wait, I'm tired, that's how. Gnome sculpture hands. You can catch these hands. So I'm gonna wash these hands. Okay, it's up there. It's good for like, getting those fudge rounds, in the middle, like, those. I forgot, like, I think it's like grasshoppers. I think it's like one of the things. I mean, I can't remember like the graham cookies. There's one of my favorites, like the graham crackers covered in fudge. I can't remember the exact name of them, but either he's been getting the fudge stripes or the DL fudge. Is it EL or DL fudge? Summertime, it's getting all melted all over his hands. I know what you've been up to. I'm partaking in your product there, Giebler. All right, spear. Okay. Okay, rogues, and we are done. Finally. Even though it's only like about 2 hours, less 2 hours, 3 minutes. But I felt like an eternity. Wouldn't have been that bad if I wasn't exhausted. But hey, like I said, at least, good news is all like the changes I made to the stream. Stuff I did in OBS, raising the bit rate up. It looks pretty awesome. Raising the bit rate up, adding in the multi-stream stuff. Try to prepare like the stream on Moonbeam, hopefully, if everything works out. At least like the whole time I only dropped like 32 frames. As far as I can tell, everything was pretty stable. Don't know if like it really helped the chat latency or anything. Either way. Darcy to the RC. I gotta like read this while I'm here. I'm tired. Jet Smith, you have cleansed my work and with it my very being. If you gave me a cucumber sandwich, I might not eat it. But were you to put one in my hand, then take it away, I'll snatch it back and eat it as if it were the last sandwich on earth. So I wonder, is the work complete? Perhaps it has lost something though through its cleaning. Perhaps you shouldn't come back in the next game. Actually, it would be interesting to see her come back. She's definitely one of the more quirky, NPCs. Anyways, that being said, guys, this was definitely, as far as like the final DLC for this game's concerned, even though this isn't the final, DLC I'm going to play for the game. But obviously, as a send-off to Powerwash Simulator 2, Powerwash Simulator 2 isn't even out yet. I see where my mind is, as far as being tired is concerned. As far as a send-off to Powerwash Simulator, I think this is pretty awesome, especially considering the, like I said, the little callbacks in the subway where you kind of like, see like the little posters of like some of the past jobs. I thought that was a pretty nice little touch. And I don't know exactly what this lady was trying to get at here or whatever. But I'm hoping, maybe, who knows, maybe this is like a sign she's going to show up in the next game or something. Maybe she might be like a more common NPC. But this was still like a fun little like final map to do. As far as like the Muckingham Files 6, they definitely delivered on. I know like the previous one they only had like one level to it, and so they at least, I think it's pretty cool they came in with 2 here, just kind of supplement that or circumvent, supplement, whatever. But anyways, like I said, the next DLC I'm gonna play, I don't know what's gonna be. I'm gonna probably like just go and try to get like the Back to the Future DLC and do that one next, because whatever it is I do next, I have to I'm gonna have to buy the rest of them or buy like the other DLC. As I'm definitely not gonna worry about buying Warhammer because I'm not too concerned with doing that one. But like I said, Back to the Future, that's a definite. SpongeBob SquarePants still on the fence about that one, and I'm also kind of on the fence on Wallace and Gromit. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to do that one. SpongeBob SquarePants is still on the fence if I'm going to do that or not. But I do know if I do that one and the Wallace and Gromit one, those who are more versed with those 2 series are going to have to like really kind of like, help me out with like figuring out like references I'm like, see, I may be missing or whatever. But I'm definitely going to probably like just go and do all 3 of them. But again, Warhammer is probably the only one I'm not going to do. Because as far as I know, I think that's like all else we've got to do. between those. We go over to special jobs. Yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah, and there is like the Midgar one, of course. I'm eventually going to do that. But otherwise, Wallace and Gromit, Back to the Future, and SpongeBob SquarePants. But Back to the Future is definitely going to be the next one. I'm probably going to do it like based on interest. So Back to the Future and probably Wallace and Gromit, just because even though I don't really know a whole lot about that one, I'm more interested in doing that than the SpongeBob SquarePants one. And then SpongeBob SquarePants, and eventually I'll be doing the Midgar stuff for Final Fantasy VII, be it if I, decide to go ahead and do it like without completing Rebirth, just go and get it out of the way so I can have all this done before Power Simulator 2 comes out. I don't even know when I'm going to get around to, I'd say Rebirth, get around to doing Remake. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do for crossovers for the next one, because we know for a fact they're going to definitely do crossovers for the next game too. It's going to be interesting to see like where else they go with this. It's because there's like, obviously there's so many different properties they can work with. As far as it's concerned, because we're doing Nickelodeon, since they did like something for Nickelodeon or whatever, it would be pretty cool to see them like bring in something else for that, like, Rugrats or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. Considering like obviously like how many times like the babies like made messes like during the episode. Something for like Cat Dog or something like that. And as far as like Universal, because Back to the Future is by Universal, I think it would be pretty cool if they actually bought in some of their other franchises. I don't know exactly what they could do with Jaws, but I think like a Jaws DLC for some reason would be interesting. But that would obviously be like very, very gory when you think about it. We were to go like with some other storybooks. I don't know. I can kind of see something like for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, maybe. Just think about it, seven seven guys like living together, with a girl or whatever. Probably got like or just them living together by themselves. I got like just see like some kind of thing where like she's stuck with them and they're all like arguing or whatever. They just make a mess and she's like just beside herself. She hires you just to clean up the Seven Dwarfs' house or something. There's different ways they can go with it. I'd like, personally, if they actually were able to do it, I'd like to see some Disney DLC. I know that would be like a whole nother thing they have to like, work with there. But there's like so many different franchises out there they obviously can do stuff with. Because what I'm thinking, like, cause I don't know, I just don't know, like, really what, direction they could take. But there are like obviously like a lot of different fandoms they can work with. I'm pretty sure like whatever they do next is gonna be like very surprising. As far as like whatever other content we get for this. Cause I still say for the Nintendo for if they put Powerwash 2 on like Nintendo Switch, or the Powerwash Simulator 2 on Nintendo Switch or the Switch 2, or even I just feel like they just considering they missed like definitely missed something like with doing this for like the Nintendo Switch version of Power Simulator 1. It would have been cool like to see for them to possibly if they could have got like the licenses to do like a Splatoon DLC, because that would have been perfect for this. That would have been like just kind of like a given for them to do. As I'm looking at my pop figures thinking about stuff, I'd like to see like a TMNT DLC. I think that'd be pretty cool. Because obviously then living in sewers, obviously sewers are going to get messy. It would be cool to see like a TMNT DLC of some sort. If we were going like, other routes here, I don't know. Hell, I'm even thinking about like, anime. I'm thinking about One Piece, like Clean 1,000 Sunny. There's definitely stuff they could do like One Piece if they were actually able to get like rights to anime or whatever. There's different ways they can go about it, but who knows? Like I said, the only thing we're gonna have to do, we just have to like wait and see like what comes with Power Simulator 2. But at least I know I'm gonna be playing that with my friends primarily. But there's like definitely like some other stuff on the pipeline as far as the multiplayer stuff is concerned between Subnautica 2, of course, Grounded 2 is releasing next month, and we already have definitely decided we're gonna be jumping on that as soon as possible. So definitely some stuff on the pipeline, Rogues. But anyways, that being said, I'm gonna go and get me some rest. Next stream, I'm definitely gonna try to be live, sometime tonight for Chrono Trigger. Again, hopefully there won't be no problems with them them next door, and hopefully the stream definitely holds up as well as this one has, because again I only dropped 32 frames. I think that's only because I was downloading the Muckingham Files stuff. Everything held up with me like going up from like 10 like about 8,000 kilobits per second up to 12,000, just see if that could improve things, and plus just trying to get ready for eventually multi-streaming. Like I said, it's still definitely kind of like a learning curve with me having to go in and do some more stuff manually now, since I don't really have the means to like do it with a stream deck. But at the very least, it's gonna be interesting to see like what happens next, guys. But anyways, if you guys enjoy the stream, really appreciate if you like, comment, and share. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, appreciate it also, since we are coming up on 1,000 subscribers on here. I'm definitely like trying to like reach that milestone. And of course, as always, if you are on my Discord server, that's an option for you guys to join as well. But anyways, I'm gonna go get me some much needed rest. Hopefully like all this all-nighter I put in before the stream, like to get like this other stuff lined up. Hopefully it's definitely gonna pay off, because it definitely was a lot of work I had to do between like setting up Social Stream Ninja, as well as like ATOM multi-stream and all that. It was like a lot I had to do, like, and only like, a few short hours, but at least like this little test stream of things outside of like, the fact I didn't go live on Moonbeam just yet, but at least this test stream, at least the stream held up, so that's a good sign. Let's just hope it holds up properly when I'm doing 2 streams at once. But anyways, till next one, Rogues, much love. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me. You guys just lurked. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching as I try to like see if I can do this properly here since I'm doing this manually now. Here we go.